On this edition of City Talk, from the Office of Special Events, Emily Bourne. From the Office of Management and Budget, Jennifer Olzinger. And from the intern pool, Grace Kim. City Talk starts right now. Welcome to City Talk, the program in which we try to find out what people do around here all day. And surprisingly enough, there are many dedicated, hardworking public servants like Emily Bourne, who's only been here a few weeks in the Department of Special Events. Emily, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
So you are just a few weeks old in this job, correct?
Yes, I think this is either the start of week 6 or week 7, so brand new.
Do you have a background in special events? Because I know that can involve everything from event planning to event execution to just permitting the permits or approving the permits that allow for the event itself.
So most of my background prior to starting here at the City of Pittsburgh is in public affairs on a local government level, and mostly in community affairs as well. So where I've worked in the past for other local governments, that's entailed what is wrapped into special events here.
Gotcha.
So programming like that.
So you've got a broad background, including some special events.
Exactly.
And they just threw you into the fire, threw you into the deep end. They didn't say, like, you know what, just watch for a few weeks.
No, it absolutely was not like that. It was definitely trial by fire. So I'm handling the farmers markets programming for the City of Pittsburgh, and we have 8 city markets throughout Pittsburgh.
8 different locations?
8 different locations, wow. Yeah, with 3 opening this week, Beachview, Carrick, and Larmer markets opening. And so my first week, it was the first market opened at Mellon Square, followed by Sunday at Squirrel Hill, and then just so forth and so on. It's just been super busy. So
you have to coordinate numerous vendors, I would assume?
Yeah, we have over 150 vendors across the 8 different markets, programming them depending, and we have some repeat vendors at some of the markets, but it's a large number of vendors, and we've seen the markets really grow this year, which is wonderful.
Is it manageable, or are you running around like a chicken with your head cut off, or somewhere in between?
It's manageable because I inherited this programming from my supervisor who handled it last year. And so I had a really good foundation. Plus we have 2 part-time seasonal staff members, Kian and Olivia, shout out to them. They are on site every single market helping place the vendors, helping ensure everybody's where they need to be, where they need to go, just all of the logistics of being on site. And it would completely not be possible without the 2 of them being there.
Well, that sounds like a handful and a full-time job as it is, but you're also doing other events even as we speak, correct?
Correct, yeah. So I also am handling the Community Festival Grant Program, which the grants have already been awarded for this year, but we offered $40,000 grants to community groups across the City of Pittsburgh to house and host their own community festivals in their own community. They submit receipts, they apply for the grant program, we either approve or deny them, and then they host their own events, and then we go through the reimbursement process to reimburse them for hosting their own events.
So, but they pay for the initial cost and then you reimburse them,
Correct.
Assuming they qualify in the first
right,
place?
Up through a certain dollar amount. Right.
Is this like Block Party Gone Wild, or what kind of things do people do?
Block Party is a separate event, special event that one of our other staff members handles. So in the past, we used to do the community festivals, but our office would do everything. We would book each face painter, each porta-john, each DJ, each magician, and that was a lot, times 40. And this year, it's a streamlined process where they apply for the grant online, they're awarded it, and then the burden is on those community groups to host their own festivals. And it allows the programming to continue without the manpower being needed to go through that whole process.
This sounds like a heck of a lot of work.
It is. It's a very busy office. It's constant. I have been absolutely shocked at the amount of hours that it's a large staff. We have our assistant manager, our manager, 4 program coordinators like myself, and 2 individuals who help with the special events programming. So it's a large team, and we all are running around constantly all day, every day, for all of the different series and events that we have going on.
If you chose to leave government, do you think you'd be able to be a pretty good event planner based on all this experience?
Absolutely, but I really love working in government, and I actually really, being brand new to the City of Pittsburgh, living here, but also working for the government side of things, I actually really love it. I come from Portland, Oregon. We just moved out here. So things are different, and yet there's plenty of things that are similar. But
what would you say is different and what's similar?
Portland is newer.
Isn't Portland groovier?
It's funkier, it's weirder. Yeah. The good thing about Pittsburgh, now I didn't live here when the boom and the bust and all of that happened, so I can say this from not being a part of having to deal with the economic implications of that. Pittsburgh still has some grit to it, which Portland, no dissing Portland here, but it's missing a lot of that.
It's changed. Too groovy.
It's gentrified entirely, completely, and Pittsburgh still has some of that realism left. We live in a neighborhood that's incredibly, my husband and I bought a home here in Pittsburgh, incredibly racially diverse, but also age diverse. We have people who are 75 who are born and raised in their homes that their parents gave them the homes. That doesn't happen in Portland. People sell and move. And
which neighborhood?
We live in Bloomfield.
Cool.
Yeah. It's great. We feel incredibly welcomed here at the city and in the city, in our neighborhood. I feel welcomed working here and in the city. And
are you surprised, or did you just not know what to expect?
To be totally honest, I had never been to Pittsburgh. I didn't.
That's all right. A lot of people have never been to Pittsburgh.
I'd been to Philadelphia, never been to Pittsburgh. Didn't know what to expect. The first time I came out here was in March when we purchased our home, which we purchased sight unseen through a realtor that we found here, which was a nerve-wracking experience.
I bet. How's that working out for you?
We love it. We live in a 100-year-old home that needs a ton of work, but it's entirely ours. I found out Bud and Olga lived in our home for 60 years, and all of the tulips in the yard were hers. And there's just a connection to somebody who loved a home. And there's just not age like that where I come from. Everything's new. It's a new city.
But hopefully you're not haunted by Bud and Olga.
No, I love Bud and Olga. Good. They've passed away, but if I can.
That's what I meant, but they're not like,
woo,
no,
they're
Bud
not
and Olga.
Ghosts.
Okay, good,
no,
good.
They're wonderful wherever they may be.
Yes.
Yes.
Good way to put it. So tulips, you still got the legacy of Bud and Olga.
Yes.
So would you recommend work in the city government to your average human?
I do. It's so varied. The city of Pittsburgh as a government entity is massive. There's everything. Technically, special events is housed in the Department of Public Safety, which is everything from our first responders, police officers, firefighters, all of that, to emergency management, Department of Homeland Security, public events. Special events. There's also just a million different avenues of work that you could pursue, and it's been a wonderful place. I have nothing but great things to say about it. So far, 6 weeks in, 7 weeks, but it's been great. Yeah.
Will you come back and talk to us when you find something horrible?
Yeah, sure. I don't know if I'll say anything, but privately, sure.
All right, awesome. Emily Bourne, thank you so much for doing the program.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Meet another scintillating worker when we come back in a moment on City Talk.
I'm Pittsburgh's 311 manager, Wendy Urbanek. We are happy to help with any City of Pittsburgh non-emergency questions or concerns. Requests can be sent anonymously if you do not require a response. Please keep in mind that the more detailed information you can provide, the better we will be able to assist. All service requests sent with a valid email address will be sent an email response providing your ticket number for tracking purposes. Should a service request be generated by your submission, one of our 311 representatives will provide a service request ID number. All weekday calls from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. are answered by a live operator. Inside the city, call 311. Outside the city, call 412-255-2621. Get the MyBurg app for Android and iOS. It is Pittsburgh's 24/7 resource to notify us about non-emergency issues. You can also submit requests by tweeting us at PGH311. Thank you.
Welcome back to City Talk. The Office of Management and Budget in the City of Pittsburgh is situated with awesome and incredible responsibilities. Meet the acting director of that department, Jennifer Olzinger. Jennifer, welcome to City Talk.
Thank you for having me.
So that does sound like a big deal, Office of Management and Budget. But for those who aren't familiar with what you guys do, what do you do?
My department that I am the acting director for right now is responsible for pretty much everything that touches the city. We set the budget, we accept grants, we distribute our community developed block grant money that the city receives from HUD. And we also do all of the procurement for the city. So we put in place all of our commodity and professional services contracts that the various city departments use
So
in
the
their
various
day-to-day business.
Right, the various city departments might propose to you, we would like to do this. Can you find the money for it? You might be able to, you might not. But whatever your recommendations are, you pass them on to City Council, and then it's up to them to either go with your recommendations or not.
Absolutely, absolutely. Each year we go through an annual both capital and operating budget process. Those processes allow each department to make requests for both budgets every year. Then those on the capital side, those proposals are scored, prioritized. In the operating, kind of the same thing in a different, little bit less formal manner. And then both the operating and capital teams make recommendations to the mayor's office and the administration as to what they feel should or should not be included. The mayor and the administration have their look at it, and then as a team, we present the whole proposed budget over to City Council, who has the final decision, and they can make, they sometimes make nominal edits as well.
And when it comes to procurement, you're purchasing mass quantities of whatever the city needs, everything from trash cans to things that go in light fixtures, literally whatever they would need. So you're looking for a good deal, but you don't want to go so cheap that it's a bad deal.
Right. So as procurement is concerned, yes, the biggest part of our day-to-day job is having those commodity contracts in place for all of the different departments. Anywhere, from rock salt to the medical supplies in our
the
EMS and
folks,
fire
yeah.
trucks, to the body armor and uniforms that our officers wear. A lot of these items are very, very critical to the day-to-day operations of the city, and we want to make sure that we're getting a very good product at a very good price, as we're spending, being stewards of the taxpayers' dollars.
So you can't be bad at mathematics. You've got to be somewhat of a math whiz, or at least competent at it, right, to hold a job like this, I would think.
Yes. I would not at all call myself a math wizard, but there's a lot of analysis that is done, and our budget team does a really good job of analyzing the different costs, especially when it comes to those procurements that are not based simply on low cost. They really do a nice job of helping the departments decide what is the best overall deal for the city.
So where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Beaver County, went to Blackhawk High School.
Cool. And how did you end up in the city of Pittsburgh and at the Office of Management and Budget for that matter?
Moved to the city in about 2003. Had worked in procurement for a long time for a company that is no longer in existence. And when that company was going south, I was looking for a new career opportunity, and just by chance happened to land here. I think it was one of those, we call it a perfect storm.
Cool, but you did have a background in procurement, so you knew what you were doing, and you were probably an
Yes.
excellent candidate, which is why they hired you, undoubtedly.
Yes, I have 8 years in higher education experience. So
as a
prior-
teacher or an administrator? Or?
in purchasing.
Oh, I'm sorry, in purchasing
Yep.
for higher education, okay.
Yes.
And what have you learned so far in the city of Pittsburgh? Are there do's and don'ts about purchasing in general? Obviously, as we already said, you're looking for the best deal.
Yes. There are a lot of do's and don'ts. There are a lot of regulations that we need to follow, a lot more than in the private sector or in education. But I think that the majority of those definitely have the best interests at heart. The biggest thing is being transparent and being open to small businesses and things like that. But basically, my goal is to put all of the best practices that I've learned over the years and bring those to the city to make sure that we're doing the best with the money that we have and get as much as we can with those few dollars that we have.
So it's a difficult balancing act sometimes, I would think.
It is. A lot of juggling of priorities and, deciding or recommending a lot of times, what we have to give up to get something else, and making some tough decisions sometimes.
Do you have a background in juggling as well, or is it just learning as you go?
No, just learning as I
Okay.
go.
Is this fascinating to you? Is it sometimes tedious? I'm just wondering what the day-to-day work is like.
It's very,
Sounds like you have
very
to-
interesting.
Sounds like you have to know a lot about a lot.
Yes, you have to know a little bit about a lot of things, like kind of like a jack of all trades, as they say. By no means are we the subject matter experts on anything. But we try to do a lot of market research and different things, rely on some of the people in the departments for recommendations as well. So, yes, there's definitely a lot to making those decisions and having to be able to quickly absorb enough knowledge about a particular topic in order to make an educated decision.
Good for you. Would you recommend a career in government service of this type to your average humans out there?
You know, I actually would. There's a lot that you learn about that you don't realize that goes into the everyday operations of a city government, any government for that matter, and a lot of the different things that you get to learn about. I never thought that I would be buying drones or watchtowers or horses.
Horses for the police officers who use horses.
Or saddles or anything that goes along with that, as well as papers, pencils, and the things that you need just to run business.
Sounds crazy, but very interesting. Jennifer Olzinger, thanks so much for doing City Talk. Very nice to meet you. Good to hear about what you do.
Thank you again for having me.
Believe it or not, the city of Pittsburgh has paid interns, and you're about to meet one of them when we come back on City Talk.
Hi, I'm Leah Friedman from the Office of Community Affairs, and we'd like you to sign up for our newsletter. We'll send you monthly email updates on citywide projects, public meetings, programs and services, and volunteer and engagement opportunities. All you need to do is go to newsletter.pittsburghpa.gov and sign up. If you have any questions, please give us a call at 412-255-4773. Thank you.
Welcome back to City Talk. Well, when it comes to internships, a lot of organizations try to get people for free, but not so in the city of Pittsburgh. We have paid interns, and meet one of them. Here she is, Grace Kim. Grace, welcome to City Talk.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So give us a little background. Where are you from originally?
I am actually from New Mexico, in this small city called Los Alamos. You've probably never heard of it.
Oh, no, I've definitely heard of it. I think there's even songs written about it.
Are there? Yeah. I did not know about that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so basically it's a secret town that the purpose of it was during World War II, actually. That's the secret town where the atomic bomb was built. So it's a very science-driven city. But yeah, came all the way to Pittsburgh for university.
Okay, to go to the University of Pittsburgh?
Yes.
And what are you majoring in?
I am majoring in politics and philosophy, writing, and economics.
Have you developed a political philosophy yet?
No.
Okay, good. Well, that's why you're still in school.
Exactly. Still have a semester to go.
All right. And how did you end up an intern with the city of Pittsburgh?
So actually, I want to be a lawyer one day. And I was just sort of thinking about what sort of internship I would want to do to sort of prepare me for that. I've actually worked in a law office for the past 3 summers, but I thought, why not branch out, try to learn how to represent and really work for the people, because that's ultimately what a lawyer is supposed to do. So
theoretically,
as some believe.
So how long have you been here with the city?
I've only actually been here for a couple months. I'd say around 3 months now. Yeah, I began in May, end of April. And
you work, correct me if I'm wrong, directly for the head of the Department of Innovation and Performance.
Yes, I work for Santi Garces, yes.
What kinds of things do they have you doing?
So there's a lot of big projects that are going on for the city right now, trying to improve different network problems, just trying to...
Network in terms of the internet and computers interacting with one another.
Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of presentations that need to be done, lots of research, so we know what the best method and the best technology should be used for the city. So I'm helping a lot with that type of research and just researching on different policies that are here. I'm trying to see which ones are effective, which ones need to be changed, different things like that, yeah. Have
you found anything so far that you think needs to be changed? Or maybe need some alterations?
I would say that a lot of as is the case with a lot of cities, there's a lot of policies that are sort of outdated. There's a lot of work that does need to be done, but it's like a slow progress, as any government work is, and a lot of red tape. But the whole purpose is that it can be very deliberate and effective for you know.
Do you have a background in research as part of your going to school? Or?
I mean, I did a research program when I was a freshman. I did research on women's rights around the world. So I do have some research, but also like in my previous internship, I did a lot of research for the other attorneys in terms of law and policy. So that sort of transferred over and has been
So
helpful.
how do you find city government so far, a couple of months in?
I mean, I was personally shocked at just how much the city government does, because I think just as normal citizens, we sort of take for granted just all the behind the scenes work that the city government is in charge of. I just didn't realize how much of it was under the view of city government. And so if there's one thing I've learned, it's the fact that city government is here for us, and there's a lot that they do for us that we just don't really know. And I think a lot of times we see problems on the surface, but we don't really know of all the people who are working behind the scenes to keep other parts of the city running effectively.
So you were surprised to find maybe that there were some dedicated public servants instead of bureaucrats sleeping.
Exactly. When we say city government, we think of politics, you know. And that's a huge part, but more than that, there's a lot of people who are serving and trying to make sure our city runs smoothly. Yeah.
Department of Innovation and Performance has a lot to do with computers, so that is one of the areas you're delving into?
Yeah, so funny fact, I am not tech savvy. I had no
Wait a
interest.
minute. Is that possible? That's not allowed.
As a millennial? Oh, no.
That's what I mean, yeah.
So I barely know how to turn on a computer. Sometimes I can log into my email, sometimes I can't. But working here has really helped me understand like how network works, and that's one of the reasons why I applied here, because that was like an area of expertise I just had no idea of how things worked and all that.
Are you making any progress in that area?
Exactly, yeah. It's been a great learning opportunity. All the people that I work for, all the mentors I have here have been really they've been really helpful in taking things slow and teaching me instead of just, you know, throwing research at me. They're like, let me first show you how this works and then you can do more. So it's been very helpful, very eye-opening as well.
How about that? Any other eye-opening experiences?
It's actually, one of the reasons why I enjoy working here is that there are no surprises. So more than eye-opening, I would say I've just learned to be more grateful for what the city does for us. You know, we're always complaining, but I don't think we know all that goes on. Maybe
if we knew how many hard-working, dedicated people there were, we wouldn't complain
exactly,
as much. Or would be more understanding of occasional glitches.
Yeah, yeah.
Grace Kim, thank you so much for doing City Talk. Very nice to meet you, and
Nice to
continued
meet you.
success in your internship.
Thank you.
That's City Talk. We'll see you next time.